You can limit yourselves or free yourselves. August 16, 2014. You can receive an endless amount of higher vibrational energies and impressions, which you can interpret for your benefit and that of the conscious public. Opening up to your divinely ordained abilities is the first step to acting on them in a real and pure way, and they can become as infinite as your becoming, if you allow them to. Your ability to pick up on the energies being happily and lovingly sent your way from the higher realms depends entirely on your willingness to believe in it, and if you aren't willing to believe you're capable of channeling or willing to pursue the practice often, your connection will be shallower than if you remain dedicated. As long as your heart's in the right place, every creative work you produce will be pure and flowing. Of course, depending on what you do, the influence of the ego will have to be diminished before your work can be pure or successful, and many of you are learning this as you continue to develop your respective creative works with the aforementioned dedication. As your dedication to your ascension and the creative works that help you refine the higher realms grows, your perception of all of the divine wonders you've been waiting to perceive grows as well. Your ability to find and remain in your sacred center increases, and your clarity of mind is sharpened, along with your ability to express the resulting positive emotions. Enthusiasm to contribute. Some of you are having trouble reaching such a clear and pure state of mind, and the sleepiness that's become common for many of you will be replaced with joy and enthusiasm to contribute wholeheartedly to the restoration of consciousness when you can simply exist, refusing to give in to the wants and demands of the ego. You hold yourselves back more than we can express when you continuously give in to the ego's demands, and if you want your perception or your creative works to be sharpened, you'll have to release the grip the ego has held on many of you and enjoy the resulting flow. We've mentioned the importance of traveling into your sacred center and remaining there plenty of times, and this is because of its relevance to your attainment of enlightenment and your enjoyment of the resulting clarity and assuredness of yourselves and where you're going. Willingness to venture beyond the needs of the ego and into the constant, blissful love of the centered self is very important, and as long as you're dedicated to the process and willing to do whatever it takes to refine the higher realms and help others do the same, everything you want to do will become easier. Of course, they'll only become easier if you can get out of your own way and let a higher facet of your consciousness work through you, and we note that it can be easy to block your reception of the divine because of the aforementioned demands of the ego. When you fulfill these demands, you cut yourselves off from the greatest source of information and energy you could hope to connect with, and we're confident that many of you are ready to cease feeding the best and see what the next stage in your development and evolution have to offer. Now that you're readying yourselves to greet the fourth and fifth dimensions, your vibration is growing and your clarity of mind and heart is being turned up to incredible extents, but these things can only happen if you open up to them. Your minds can only be clear if you allow them to be, and you can only feel the energy pouring out from your sacred heart space if you open up to it. Everything you have the potential to do requires some momentum, and if you aren't willing to open up and see what the divine has to offer, you won't find what you're looking for quite yet. If you are willing, this'll be displayed by your actions and the readiness with which you pursue anything that has to do with spirituality or finding a higher vibration. Your enthusiasm to refine the higher realms is displayed by the amount of enthusiasm you approach things that relate to it with, and willingness and determination will see you onward in this time of transformation. You have the individual and collective potential to manifest miracles on the surface of the earth, and all you have to do is believe in yourselves and willingly pursue the creation of such miracles. Believing in yourselves will take you further than you might think or expect, and practicing your divine gifts every day will help you hone them and the general expressions that are helping you collectively refine a higher vibration. By expressions, we mean the energy, advice, information you're all sharing with each other as your vibration continues to rise. You constantly communicate with each other on the subconscious level, and even though many of you have never officially met in person, you're closer with each other than you realize. Contributing something of value. Your closeness with the higher realms is also very strong, and your ability to connect with us can strengthen exponentially if you allow it to. Given that you're strengthening your abilities with every day that passes, Soon enough, they'll be so strong that you'll reach waves of other seekers who'll be very glad they discovered your passionate, inspired work. We can't express the importance of everything you're doing enough, and even when you're depleted, you're encouraged to squeeze out what little work you can, so at the end of the day, you can know you've contributed. This is one of the main goals of your presence on the earth, to contribute something of value to its ascension. Even if you find that you've only been able to do a little bit each day, this is still better than nothing. As long as your will and intent are there, everything else will follow suit, but you have to be willing to do what's required to bring yourselves and the planet around you into the light, which we know can be difficult at times. You don't have to strain or push yourselves too hard, but a little bit of momentum is greatly needed and greatly appreciated. We don't want you to burn yourselves out, but as many of you are discovering, you can never truly burn out given that you're infinite receptors of creative energy and inspiration. You can push your bodies too far or convince yourselves you've burned out, but underneath your physical bodies, your energy is as limitless as your potential to act on it. Realizing you're infinite is the first step to acting on your infinity, and if you refuse to believe you're capable of expanding your minds and diminishing your perception of yourselves as finite human beings, you'll continue to struggle with limitation and the feeling that you aren't doing enough. Let limitation be a thing of the past, and let yourselves open up to the infinity that sits all around, waiting to be discovered and tapped into. Infinity is everything, and everything survives into infinity. Is this difficult to fathom from the limited realms of the earth? Despite all of the limitation and depletion some of you tend to feel, your infinity remains intact. Most souls on your planet haven't yet realized or tapped into it, but as your vibration continues to rise, everyone will understand and act on it. Not one soul will be left out of the construction of your new earth or the realization of your collective infinity, and everyone who's been lost in the unawareness of the lower vibrations will rediscover that they are and have always been infinite. When they do, we can envision all of humanity contributing to your planetary restoration in much stronger ways than most of your planet currently does, but until this time comes, the incarnate light workers, starseeds, etc., have a lot of important and potent work to do. If you let yourselves, you can become miraculous healers of the ailments that have clogged your collective consciousness, and only if you can expand your perception will you be able to do this. It's essential to understand that you're capable of everything you're willing to believe you're capable of, and your beliefs can either inhibit you or help you soar. Depending on what you believe, you can either limit yourselves or free yourselves from the limited beliefs that have been commonplace on your planet for millennia. You can free yourselves from the self-instated and collectively enforced illusion of separation and inability, and all it takes is the will to do so. All it takes is the desire to pull yourselves and everyone around you out of the mucky unawareness of the lower vibrations, and when you can do this, you'll find the spiritual elation so many of you seek. A lot needs done. You'll help others find it too, and there'll be an entire planet of awake and aware souls who recognize that changes need made and are willing to do what's required of them to make such changes. A lot needs done to transform your planet and make sure it operates fairly, in the name of serving humanity instead of oppressing you, and since your motivation is already growing, we can envision the most important changes being made relatively easily. Of course, this can only happen if the conscious public continues to be as active as you always have, and with the awareness you carry within, you can light up the surface of your planet and help everyone understand that something real and pure exists beyond the limitations you've grown used to. We'll make our final expressions for this communication with endless encouragement to develop your creative abilities, even when your flame seems doused and you feel more depleted than usual. In many cases, your creative routes will lead you out of the illusory depletion you tend to convince yourselves is real, and by living in love and constantly orienting to the divine, you'll find that you don't feel depleted or unable to complete any given creative venture as often. Depletion will be replaced with an unprecedented drive to do everything you can to bring humanity into the light, and in time, all of humanity will feel and act on this drive. Continue to be as busy as you can in preparation for this time, and know that in so many ways, Your work has just begun. Thank you to my higher self and spiritual guides. Channeled through Wes Anak. cultureofawareness.com